He's got it down here.
Hi, you must be Stacy.
Hi.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
And you must be Hannah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My name is Emily. I'm a social worker here at the hospital. So tell me a little bit about yourselves. I read a little bit on your file, but just tell me a little bit why you're here
Yeah.
today.
Do you want to tell or do you want me?
Okay, so I found out that I have cancer,
Mm-hmm.
so I kind of not okay with it, but I don't have that, like I can do anything about it, and we're trying to find a way to get like medical insurance and help with that financial situation that we're going through, because we have a low income too.
Yeah, we found out she had cancer. She was diagnosed a few weeks ago. But this is our first time, obviously, like coming for counseling. I'm really stressed out about it. She's being really strong about it, and she's handling it pretty well.
Right.
But
That's
I'm
great.
more, I haven't told like all the family yet, so I'm just stressed with that as well as finances.
Okay. That sounds like, you have a lot of medical concerns, from what you're telling me, from what I read in your file. And it sounds like you're stressed out because you haven't told anyone yet, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of financial difficulty
Yeah.
going along. So before we get started too far into this, I just want to tell you a little bit about my role here at the hospital. So my role primarily is to connect you with services that we can provide you, whether it be medical insurance concerns or just health concerns, counseling concerns. I really want to make sure that you have a lot of support while you're dealing with this issue. But first of all, can you tell me a little bit about what your reactions were when you found out that you were diagnosed with cancer? Maybe you can start and then let your mom go.
I was surprised, but I'm kind of dealing with it, because I'm young, I'm 20 years old, so I never thought that this will happen to me right now,
Right, it's completely understandable. It's
Yeah.
it's so out of the blue. It's like you're
Yeah.
20, you're off to college, you have big plans for your life, and this must be really hard for you.
Definitely, and like I don't know, I'm like dealing with it, but I'm kind of scared too, because I know I have to go to like to the doctors and stuff like that, and just knowing that my hair will fall,
Right,
I'm just kind of like scared, but I have to deal with it,
right. So you tell me a little bit more about what you mean by dealing with it. How do you deal with it, would you say?
I try not to think about it like too much,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't like stop me from being worried, like
Right.
I don't know.
Right, it sounds really hard for you.
Yes.
So how, you said you're feeling a little bit scared about this. Is there any other, primary feelings that you're feeling about this besides that?
Just worry about like our financial situation and how my mom is gonna like take care of it, like what she needs to do for me to go through all this medical stuff.
Right. So mom,
Mhm.
can you just repeat back to me the things that you heard her saying about what her concerns are primarily, just to see if you understand what her primary concerns are?
Well, you're dealing with it well. You've right now you're feeling pretty come to terms with it. But I'm also heard you say that you're a little bit afraid, a little anxious for knowing the whole process of going through it, like with the chemo and the hair falling out, you said. But it seems like for the most part, at least today, you're feeling a lot better than from the day that we found out.
Yeah.
And then also, you're a little worried for me and the financial concerns.
Well, that's great. So it sounds like you two both have really good communication skills, and you have a really good understanding of what your daughter's going through. And I just want to say to you that you are handling this very well, especially for someone who just found out that they had cancer. That's a really good strength to have. So you're just really calm about it. I know it must be really hard for you, but, you know, I just want to point out that, you know, you seem to persevere through a lot of things, and I just want to point that out as something that's really good, and it's going to be helpful through this whole process as, you know, it gets harder, because it's going to get harder. I want to be pretty real with you too, but it seems like you can persevere and you're a strong person, so that's really great to hear. Can you describe a little bit about what your communication looks like on a daily basis? Like, do you ever talk about this, or is it something that's kind of, you know, taboo?
Well, it's only been a few weeks, so we kind of have been talking about it to an extent, just because in the beginning we're like setting up all the appointments, but we haven't talked about feelings much.
Okay.
Yeah, is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. So you know, we touched on your feelings a little bit, but Mom, what are your feelings now about the diagnosis, about, you know, the process of going through chemotherapy, of different treatments? You know, are you a little overwhelmed, or how do you feel about this?
Well, I'm proud of how well she's doing right now, and I've come to terms with it as well. But it triggers some things for me, just because you didn't know this, but Grandma, my mom, she had it when I was actually about your age or a little younger. So I was a little surprised and really shaken when I found out that I know, like, I guess it's like hereditary, but I didn't tell you that before, so I'm sorry for that. But you didn't know that Grandma ever had it, because she like went through it and she came out okay, but that's always why she gets sick easily. The chemo kind of like left her feeling her immune system to be lower ever since then. Yeah, so it kind of, in my own heart, I was really like nervous and triggered by it, just because of seeing how I dealt with my mom having it.
Right.
And then now it's reversed, because now my daughter has it.
Right.
And a lot younger than I expected it to happen. It skipped my generation. Like I go through checkups every year just in case, but it does run in the family. I'm just surprised that you have it young.
No, it's completely okay to be, you know, shocked, but that's normal.
Yeah, I'm
You know,
shocked, and I almost am like a little like, oh, I'd rather have it.
Right.
Like, why did it have to skip my generation? And maybe I will get it. Who knows? But like, I'm just sad that you have it.
It happened to me early.
Right.
Really early. Yeah.
Right. So, can you tell me a little bit about what you understand from what your mom said, like what her perspective is on things?
She's kind of like sad because it happened to her mom and now it's happening to me. So she kind of feel a little bit upset that she haven't, like, maybe not upset, but like sad that she never told me about my grandma.
Right.
But
Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
it's okay, I understand.
Right.
It happens.
It's good that you understand each
I'm
other.
afraid too.
Right.
Just because it was very stressful for me. I just, the same thing, going to college, but then my mom was going through that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
That must be really hard for you as well. Just, you know, going through this again when you didn't want to deal with it in the first place,
Right.
and then having it come back in your family and back in your life so suddenly. It must
Yeah.
be really hard.
And then as a mom, I feel like I have a different role this time around, but I don't know exactly how that looks like.
Right. So, a different role. What do you think that could look like? You said you don't really know, but
Well, I guess when I was 20 and it happened, my mom, I didn't have to really deal with the finances. I was in college, so I just came home more and I treasured the moments with her, because I didn't know how it would end up. But this time around, I'm the caregiver still in a way.
right.
So I'm dealing with a lot more of the financial and legalistic aspects, and it's like more stressful, because that can overtake a lot of the emotion that I need to deal with too.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That must be really hard.
Yeah.
But all families are really different, and you know, your experience is going to be so much more different than, you know, what you experienced before, or what other families experience when they go through the same process. So you're going to be feeling a lot of different ways, and you know, you might be a little confused at times about what your role may be when you're trying to help your daughter through this process.
Right, because you are old enough to make enough decisions
Exactly.
too.
Exactly. And I'm sure you want to be as independent as possible through this. So how do you feel about, you know, having to go through treatment and what your mom said?
I wish I could help her with the financial situations, but I want her, like, I don't know if, like, I will be able to, since I will be going to my appointments and everything.
Right.
But I would definitely would love to help her.
Right. I see a lot of strength in your relationship together. You seem to have a really close connection and good understanding of each other, and you're really supportive of each other. So that's great. What kind of supports do you have outside of each other? You know, like, is there family members or friends, or do you have any friends at school?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely friends, but the family.
Yeah.
I know you said you haven't told your family yet.
Right, so that's the reason I'm nervous about that actually. Well, I guess I'll back up. So we're close. My husband, he passed away like a decade ago, so it was pretty a while now. But so that I'm thankful that we're close through that. But because of that, I don't have as much financial income. But I'm nervous. Sorry, I'm jumping all over. I noticed that I'm nervous for telling my extended family, specifically my mom, because she can be like controlling. She's very different from me, her personality. And if she finds out, it's all gonna be out of love and care, but I feel like she's gonna really micromanage like me and like force me to do more, or like force you to like. And now since she went through it also, which you're finding out, she's gonna have a lot more of like, well, I know what it's like because I went through it.
Right.
But it is different, like you said. So
Exactly.
I'm nervous to. I've always struggled to deal with my mom sometimes, even though I love her. And as she's even older now, she's more. What would you say? Yeah, she's really, like finicky and like, yeah.
Very interesting to deal with those kind of family members.
Yeah, so I'm nervous for how she's gonna take it.
That's understandable.
Yeah, and then my sister, I just don't know what she's gonna think, or if she'll even support. So on one hand, like mom or grandma, she's gonna like be overbearing, and my sister, I feel like she just won't like help out when she lives close. So it'd be nice to, and she has. I don't want to ask her for money,
Right.
but her and her husband are very well off, and they've helped us before in areas.
Right.
But so I'm a little nervous. Like when I tell her, they're gonna expect I'm asking for something.
Exactly.
So I'm nervous. Yeah.
That sounds like you are really nervous.
Yeah,
and
more than I
that's
thought I
okay.
was, I guess.
That is definitely okay.
Yeah.
And we'll talk through that. We'll
Okay.
talk about ways we can approach your mom and your sister and see what's the best way to approach them so they're
Right,
not.
because I don't want her to assume that I'm asking for money.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Since they help you a lot.
They have helped in the past.
Right.
So.
But it sounds like you're really just unsure of, are they gonna help or are they not?
Right, but then if I don't tell them, because I'm afraid they'll assume that I'm wanting to help, then they'll be offended that we didn't fill them in with the family.
Exactly.
So,
it's like a really hard balance of like,
Yeah.
what do you do? And we'll definitely talk through that
Okay.
if you would like to do
Cool.
that. Yeah, but we can definitely meet again. I just want to let you know about some of the services we do provide. So we do have counseling services. I am not a counselor. I'm just a social worker here at the hospital. But I want to connect you with any resources that would be helpful. So what resources do you think, you would primarily need? What needs do you think are priorities?
well, right now, I just want to understand how this whole process will look like.
Okay.
So maybe through a counselor or someone, a doctor with a counselor,
Right.
I don't know, something like that where I can understand like whole insurance deal, when maybe some payments are due, what that, like I just don't, I don't know
Right.
finances when it comes to
Definitely
like
finances.
intense medical conditions
Right.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you
So
agree with
that,
that?
yeah, I just need to
definitely.
understand and do research.
Okay. So we'll definitely put you in contact with a doctor and a counselor
Yeah.
and help them to understand that you need to understand the process, so make it a lot easier. Are there any other issues that you think should be a priority, especially from your perspective?
Just if I could like go to like work and go to my appointments, like I would love to help her.
Right.
So
Right.
I would like to know that.
Mm.
Right. So it's really important to, you know, stick together through this whole process, and it's really good that you are so concerned about that. And,
I
you
just
know,
don't want her to overwork.
exactly, and, you know, work comes into this. It's like all
Yeah.
of your spheres are affected by this. You know, your work is gonna be messed up, your work may be messed up, like your families are involved, like there's a lot going on, and it is stressful. So, but we're gonna work through it, and we'll definitely meet again, if you're okay with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
and I'll contact the counselor, and then hopefully would this time next week be okay for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work.
So I'll contact the counselor, and then if you could just work on communication through this week and try to talk about
Okay.
how you're feeling about this, how, you know, how you think your mom or your sister would respond to this. Just think through the different possibilities, different ways you can respond to the situation, and then hopefully we'll be able to talk next week.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure. Have a
Have a
sweet
good
day.
day. Bye-bye.